What's up everyone? Welcome back. In this video tutorial, I'll be showing you step by step how to build a new web page using the WP Bakery Page Builder. All right guys, now that you have your website platform set up, you've got your WordPress installation set up, you've got a theme installed, and you've also installed all of the plugins that I recommended in a previous module, and you've also got your design built over here in Sketch, and you've also exported out all of the images for development. Now it's time to dive into your WordPress installation and actually start to build out all of your web pages. We're going to start by designing the homepage demo that we have set up previously. So over here on the right, I've got the Sketch file opened up that we're going to be using as a reference. And then over here on the left, I am installed into my WordPress admin. So go ahead and log into your WordPress admin, and we're going to start building out this homepage using the WP Bakery Page Builder and all the images and the design that we have over here as reference. So to begin, go over here on the left under Pages and go ahead and click on Add New. We're going to create a brand new page here. First off, we're going to go ahead and title this page. And then next, you're going to see right here, since you have installed the WP Bakery Page Builder, you now have some options here in blue to either edit using the back-end editor or the front-end editor. We're going to use the back-end editor today, so all we have to do is click on that. And now we have a bunch of options in here to add an element, add a text block, add a template. We're just going to go ahead and start with add an element. So here are all the modules that are available to you with the WP Bakery Page Builder, and then also the add-ons that I recommended you installing in the previous module. So everything is here that you're going to need to build out this entire page. We're going to start right up here in the top with this hero image. So we're going to first create a row, and then we're going to add the image in the background, and then we're going to split the row, add a video in here, and then we're going to go ahead and add this text and the call to action button. So as I mentioned, we're going to start off with a row. So over here in the upper left, we're going to go ahead and click on row. Now you're going to see that this has made a little row in here, and now you could actually split this up if you want into different columns. We're going to keep it as a full width column right now. And then also this is an editing tool, so you can go ahead and click on this little pencil icon, and what that's going to do is allow you to edit this row. But first off, we've created this row, so we're going to go ahead and click on that little edit icon, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and add a background, this image in here, and then also a background color. So now that you've clicked on that edit, you have a new row settings in here. First thing we're going to do here is edit the row stretch. So we're going to drop down this and go ahead and stretch row. Basically, it's going to make the row go full width depending on the user's browser. And then what we're going to do is click on design options. Now we're going to set a background color to black, and then we're going to click on this little plus here, and we're going to upload the background image. Now you have the option to go ahead and load in an image. So first off, you can pick an image that's already loaded into your media library, or under upload files, you can now search for an image that's on your computer. We're going to go ahead and look for this background image that you have previously exported out of the design and saved to a directory on your computer. Once you have located that image, click choose. It's going to upload that image into your media library. Once that is loaded in, go ahead and click on set image in the lower right. Now we've added that image in there. Next thing we have to do is under this drop down for theme defaults, make sure this is set to cover, and that's going to set that image to cover the entire space of that row as a background. Next, we just go ahead and click on save changes. Now you've added a background color and an image to that row. Next, we're going to start adding in some content in here. As you see in this design, this is split into two columns, one with a video on the left and then content on the right. So we're going to click on the little plus button. We're going to add in another row. So we're going to embed one row into this other row. And this one, we're going to split 50-50 into two columns. First off, we're going to add a video in there. So we're going to go ahead and click on the plus button again. And we're going to search for this video player module right here. Click on that. That's then going to add this in here. But first off, we have some video player settings. So right now it's going to add a default video in there. Later in a module, we'll show you how to then upload your actual videos in here, but we're just going to keep that as the default video for right now. Video width, we're going to keep it 100%. We're going to center that video. Once that's all set, we're just going to go ahead and click on save changes. Next, over here on the right, we're going to add a couple different modules in here, starting off with some text up here. So we're going to click on that plus, and we're going to search for the heading module. Once you've located that, you're going to go ahead and click on the heading module. So this module allows you to add a title and then also some content. So what we're going to end up doing here is we're going to put fitness trainer or your main page heading in there, and then also this subheading we're going to add down into this content area, and then we're going to add a different heading for this content text that's right there. So first off, we're going to type in the fitness trainer right up here, and then over here we're going to go ahead and copy this and paste this into this content area down here. Once that is set up, we're going to scroll down here, alignment, we're going to align this text left, and then we're going to change up the typography. So click on the typography tab. So we have some settings for the heading, which is this one right here. And then we also have some settings for the subheading right down here. First off, we're going to start with this. Now, if we go back over to our design over here and we click on this text right here, we're going to see this is Lado, black, and it's 60 point. So now we're going to mimic that over here. So we're going to click on typography. We're going to go ahead and load in Lado. Now, if these fonts aren't in here, all you have to do is click on add new font collection here, and then you can add any Google fonts you've installed over there into this setting. So if you're not getting any fonts that are loaded down here in this drop down, just go ahead and click on add new in collection here. That's going to take you to this page where you can then load in any fonts right here. You can search for your Google fonts right here and then add to the collection, and then that's going to add that to that drop down menu right here. We're going to select Lado, and then we're going to go really bold on this because it is that black bold, so it's the heaviest weight you'll see over here. So we're going to select 900 for that weight, and then the text size over there was 60 points, so we're going to add that into here, and then the color we're going to set to black. Now scrolling down, now we have to set the font family for the subheading, which was also Lado, and back over here we're going to look at this, and that font is bold and it's 22 point. We're going to bold that at say 700. We're going to put 22 in there for the font size, and then we're also going to make that black. Now what we're going to do is click on save changes. So now we've added that in there. Now if I go ahead and publish this page, it's going to save everything that I've just done. Now when I go back, if I view this page in the browser window, you're going to see that everything's kind of coming together now. So we have that background image in there, we have the video over here on the left, and then we're also starting to add some text in here. We got to go back and change that text to white. So go ahead and click on the edit again, back up to typography, switch this off to white, switch this one off to white, save those changes. And now what we're going to do is add in this paragraph text that's right there. I'm just going to copy this for right now, and I'm going to take note that is also Lado, regular, and 18 point. So back over here, we're going to add in another heading module in here. So click on this plus button right here. Once again, here's your heading module. Click on that. And then we're going to use the subheading section right here for that text. Paste that in there. Now we have to adjust the typography. Down here in the subheading font, it was Lado. It was regular, so we're just going to keep that as default. Font size was 18. Font color was white. Back over here to general, we're then going to left align this, and then we're going to go ahead and click on save changes. Now when I update this page, I can then go back to the browser, refresh it one more time, and now we're starting to see this heading come together over here with the video on the left. We have this heading in here, we have the subheading, and then we have the font down here as well. Next thing we need to do is we want to add a little bit of space in here between this subheading and this text down here. So back over here into your builder, on this heading, we're going to add a little padding on here, so edit that. Then over here on the design section, we can add in some margins. So this is a subheading margin. We're just going to add, let's say 20 pixels in there, click save changes, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh that browser, and now we have a little bit of space in there. So that looks pretty good. Next, what we want to do is add in that call to action button. So back over here into the builder, click on this plus right here. That's going to bring up your module palette. And then we're searching for advanced button, which is right here. We're then going to title this button. It says call to action right here. So we're going to type in call to action. And this is where you would add the URL, so where you want that button to go to. Next, we want to make sure this is left aligned. Button size, we're going to keep that at normal. Now we have to change up the color for this button, so we have options to change the button title color and then the background color. What we're looking at over here in the design is the button title is Lado, heavy, it's black and it's 18. This is already set to black, so we're good to go on that one. Now we just have to pick this color. So we're going to copy this color right here, and then we're going to add that in for the background color of that. Next, what we're going to do is click on background. We're going to change up the effects. So this is what happens when someone hovers over this button. We're just going to make the background fade. We're going to make the background fade to white, and then we're going to also change the text color. We're going to keep that black. Next, we're going to add some rounded corners to this. You do that right here in styling. What we're going to do is a solid border. Border color, we're going to leave that the same, leave that blank as well. Border width, we're going to put that at 0. And over here on this button, you will notice that the corner width is set to 5 pixels. So we're just going to up this to 5. Next, we're going to go over here and do the typography for this. Once again, it is Lado. It was over here set to heavy. So we're going to go ahead and put 700 on there. Font size was 18. And then we're going to go ahead and click on Save Changes. Now we're going to update that page. Back over to here, the browser, refresh that. Now we have that call to action button in there. Now you'll see we have to add a little bit of space in here as well. So back to here, edit that call to action button. Over here in styling, we're going to add about 30 pixels of margin above that button. Click on Save Changes, update that page, back to the browser, refresh, and now we have that all set up. And when you hover over that, it turns to white. Next, what I want to do is add a little bit more padding here to the top of this and then also to the bottom. So back over here into your editor, we're going to go back to this main row here, the first one we created, and click Edit this row. And what we're going to do under Design Options is we're just going to add in, say, 5% of padding there, and then let's add 6% down there. Click Save Changes, update that, go back to the browser, refresh, and you're gonna see that it's opened that up a little bit here on the top and then also here on the bottom. One more thing you wanna take note of is when we were editing the font here, we wanted to add the font size in here, but we have to accommodate different browsers and then also mobile devices. So back here into the editor section, we're gonna edit up the font once again for these headings. So click on edit, and what you're gonna see under the typography section here is this little arrow. So what that's gonna do is right now it's indicating that it's gonna be 60 point on a desktop. Now if we expand this out, now we're adding some responsive options in there. So this is a tablet, this is a tablet at the portrait, this is a mobile, so your phone at landscape, and this is your mobile at portrait. We want to add some smaller font size in here. Typically what I'll do here is if it's a large font like 60, I'll bring this down to say like 55, then this to 50, and then this to 45, and then this to 40. Once that's all set up, we have to do the same thing down here for the subheading, but this is just starting off at 22, so I'm gonna keep this at 22. We're gonna move this down to 22 as well. Once we get down to the mobile devices, let's go down to 20 and then 20 there as well. Then we're gonna go ahead and click on Save Changes. Now when I update that, it's not gonna change it here on the desktop, but what's gonna happen is when that browser goes down to like a mobile device, what it's gonna start to do is that font is gonna start to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then eventually it's gonna go down to below that video, so like that's what it would be on the mobile device. All right, we've got a hero row all set up and ready to go. Next, we're gonna go down to this training programs row. So back over here, we're gonna add a new row by clicking on this big plus button right here. Once again, selecting row and then editing this row. We're then going to stretch the row again, and we're gonna add a white background to that row. So click on design options. We're gonna go ahead and click on white and then save changes. So that's created a new row down there with a white background. Next thing we have to do is add some headings in here. So we're gonna go ahead once again, click on this plus button. We're looking for that heading module. Click on that. We're gonna copy this text over here from the design. We're gonna add that as the title. And then this lorem ipsum placeholder text down here, we're gonna copy that and we're gonna add that into the subheading section. And if you look back here, training programs is Lado black at 60 point. And then this subheading text right here is also Lado regular at 18. So once again, we're gonna go back here to typography. We're gonna change this to Lado. We're gonna make this really bold, and we're gonna go ahead and change off the font size of this to be 60. We're then gonna change the font color to black. Then down here, switch this to Lado. This is just the regular default font size or font weight. We're gonna make this 18 point, and we're gonna switch this to black as well. Now back over here to general, we're gonna then go ahead and make sure this is center aligned. Click Save Changes, update that page. Now go back to the browser window, refresh that browser, and you see now I have a new section in here for that row right there with the training programs in there and then the subtext down below that. Next, we're gonna add in these images that you see right down here below. So back to the editing section, we're gonna click on this plus button right here. We're gonna add a new row. This is a 3-column row as you see here in the design. So we're then gonna switch this off right here, make that 3 columns. And then the next thing we're gonna do is add in this first image. So click on this plus button, search for the single image module right here, click on that. This is gonna bring up the settings window. We're then gonna make sure that this is instead of thumbnail, we're gonna put full because it's gonna make it the full size image. We are then going to make sure this is center aligned. And now we're gonna go ahead and search for that image on our hard drive and add it in there. Now that that image has been added in there, go ahead and click on Set Image. That image has been added in there. Then we're gonna go ahead and click on Save Changes. If I was to go back after updating this page to the browser, refreshing that browser, you're gonna see that now that image is in there. Now we just have to add the other images as well. And it's easy to do that. What you can do is hover over this image, and on this little icon right here, it's gonna clone that. So what you're gonna do is repeat that, and then you're gonna drag and drop that into this section right there, and then you're gonna clone it again, and then drag and drop this one over into this third section. Now you have 3 images. Now you just have to edit the images. Right now, all 3 of those are the same. So click on Edit. Back over here, we're gonna X out that one, and we're gonna search for that second image now. Upload that image, set the image, save the changes, and now we're gonna do the third one as well. X that one out, search for that image, set that image, save those changes. Now we have all the images in there. Update that page, go back to the browser, refresh that window. Now we have all 3 images in there. Next, what we have to do is add in the training program name. So we're just gonna add this default text in here, which is a heading and then a subheading. And then we have to add this button down below. We'll start off with these subheadings and headings. So once again, under this first image, click this little plus button, looking for that heading module, got that one. We're gonna copy and paste this title and then this lorem ipsum placeholder text. This is where you would actually add in your real text, but for now, in this demo, we're just putting the placeholder text in there. Looking at this text size, we're looking at Lado black 26 point, and then this is Lado regular 16. So we're making sure this is aligned center, which it is. Go back to typography, Lado. We're going to bold this up to 700. We're going to go ahead and put 26 points in there. And just like the other heading, we're going to make sure that we add some smaller fonts in here for the mobile devices. So we're going to bring that down a few here. Make sure you're doing this for all of your different pages. Font color, make that black. Then down here, changing off the subheading font to Lado. Default, this was 16-point font color black. Go ahead and click on Save Changes. Now update the page. Go back to the browser, refresh the browser, and now we have program 1 set up and ready to go. Then we just have to duplicate this for the next 2 rows. So once again, duplicate that, drag and drop it underneath that image, duplicate that, drag and drop it under that image. Now we have to edit this out. We're gonna make this one program 2, and then this one, edit, program 3, save changes. Now go ahead and click update. Going back to that browser, refreshing it, and now I have all those titles and the subheadings in there. Next, what we have to do is create this little button down here. This is a dual button. There's a module for that. So going back over into here, we're gonna click on this plus button right here. We are searching for the dual button, so go ahead and start typing button in here, and it's gonna come up right there. Click on that module, and now we're adding the settings in here. So first off, in general, this is for button style number 1. There's a couple different styles in there. We're gonna go with 1 here. We're gonna edit the text font size. Over here, if we look at our designs, we're looking at 18, so we're gonna go ahead and type in 18 point there. Border radius, we're just gonna keep that normal. Border style, we're gonna keep that none. Actually, if you're looking at the design, there is a little bit of a border on this. It looks like about 8 pixels or 5 pixels. We're gonna up that border radius a little bit there to 5 pixels. Now scrolling down, there's some other settings right here, but we're gonna leave everything as it is right now. Now we're gonna go over and edit button number 1. Button number 1 is set to display the label more info. So we're gonna paste that into there. This is where you would add the URL for that button. Background color, we're gonna set that to black. Background hover color, we're gonna set that to a little bit of a dark gray. And then if you wanna add some icons in there, if you wanna add the size of the icon and the icon color, you can do that there. We're not gonna add icons here. Now we're gonna go over and edit button number 2. That button label is Buy Now. Once again, you would add the URL of where you want that button to go into this area right here. Button color is that attention color that you had designated in your style guide. So we're gonna paste that color into there. Hover on here, once again, is gonna be a dark gray. Now we're going through that divider, which is this section right here, this little plus that you see here in the design. So once again, we're gonna go up here to icon. Icon color is gonna be black, and then the background, once again, is gonna be that attention color. And now we're just gonna search for an icon that's suitable for that. And here's a little plus icon, so I'm gonna add that in there. That's gonna be the icon that displays in the middle there. Next up is typography. So if I go over here to the design, we're looking at Lado once again. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch that off to there. It's just default size. Text color over here is gonna be white. This is button number 1 that we're doing right here. So it's this right here. So we're going white on there. And then text hover color is gonna be that attention color. Next font, this is for the other side, the right side of that button. Once again, same as before, it's gonna be Lado, but this time the text color is gonna be black, and then the hover color is going to be that attention color. Next over here in design, we're gonna add a little bit of padding over there. So just gonna put in about 5% padding. And then we're gonna go ahead and click on Save Changes. Now when I update that page, go back to the browser, refresh that page. Now we've got this nice dual button down there ready to go. The hover states work really well. All you would have to do at this point is link off those buttons to where you want them to go. Now we have to go in and duplicate this whole button across for these other 3 columns. So once again, back over into here, really simple to do. Using this icon right here, we're gonna make a duplicate of that, and then we're gonna drag that over here. Once again, make a duplicate of that, drag that over here, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh that browser. So there we go, guys. We got that row all set up. We want to add a little bit more space in here, and then maybe a little bit more space down here. So I'm going to go back in here, and on this 3-column row, edit that row, and we're just going to add a little margin above the top. So click on Design Options. We're just going to add padding in there. Let's go with 4%. And then down at the bottom, we want add a little bit of space down here. So let's go with 5%. Click Save Changes, update that page, back to the browser, refresh the browser, and now we have a little bit more space in here and a little bit more down there. So there we go, guys. Our website's coming together really well here. Next row we have over here is the daily workouts row, if that's the row you choose to design in there. And we're gonna start off back over here. This has a background color of this right here, so we're gonna copy that. And we're gonna add a new row by clicking on that plus button, select the row module, edit that row, back up here to the default section for the row stretch the row, design options, background color. We're gonna paste in that background color, save those changes. So now we've got that row in there with the background color. And once again, now we have a heading and a subheading. And the super cool thing about this page builder is now we can just duplicate the one that we've already created right here. So we're gonna make a duplicate of that. Then we're gonna grab this right here and drag and drop it into this row. and then we just have to edit the text. So now that row is all set up and ready to go. If I just go back over the home page here, refresh the browser. Now this next row is coming together. We've got the daily workouts in there with that lorem ipsum placeholder text in there. Next, we just have to add an image and then some content off to the side here. So back over here, we're gonna add a new row just below there. So click on that plus button. This is a 50-50 split column row. Go ahead and click on row there. Split this 50-50. First off, we're gonna add an image in there. Click on the plus button. Looking for that single image module, click on that. We're gonna make this a full image, not the thumbnail. And then we're gonna center this, and then we're gonna search for that image. Upload that image, click set to image. Now that should be all set. Click save changes. Update that page, go back to the browser, refresh that browser. And now we have that image in there. So back over here, now we just have to add this content that's right there. This is a series of a heading like we've been using before with the subheadings in there as bullet points, and then our call to action button, which is the same as the buttons right here. So we're gonna duplicate one of those. First off here, we're gonna add a heading module in here, taking note of the text. This is Lado Black 46, and then these bullet points are bold 18. So we're gonna start right here, add this heading in here, copy this text, back over here into the editor, click on this plus button. We're looking for that heading module again, click on that, edit that, add the heading text in there, and then also we're gonna copy these bullet points and paste them into the subheading section. Once that's in, we're just gonna align this left, go up to the typography section. As I noted, this heading is 46 Lado Black, so Lado. We're gonna make this super bold here, 700, 46 point, then also making sure we're taking care of the other devices here. So we're gonna bring this down to, let's say 42, let's go to 36, let's go to 32, and then on the phone, let's go down to 28. Font color, it's black. Now we're heading over to these subheading fonts. Lado once again, this was 18 point. We're gonna go ahead and make that 700 bold as well, and then black. Go ahead and click on Save Changes, update that page, and go back to the browser, and let's see how that looks. So now we've got that all set up. We just have to go ahead and change up some spacing in here. So we want to make a little bit more spacing right here between this text and that image. So I'm going back over to here and clicking on the edit tool for this row. We're then going to add in just a little bit of padding. Go under design options. We're going to add 4% there, or you can add pixels in there. Click Save Changes, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh the browser. Okay, looking pretty good there. We just want to add a little bit more space between these bullet points. So if I go back over here, edit the heading. Now if I go back over to the typography section, under the subheading, we have a setting for line height. So this is set to 18. I'm just going to bring this up to say 32 points, see how that looks. Click Save Changes, update that, go back to the browser, refresh that. So now we space those out a little bit, looks a little bit better. Now we just have to add this call to action button down there, which is an exact duplicate of one of these, just this secondary label is changed. So we're gonna go back in here. Once again, we're gonna clone that button and then drag it down below that heading. And as I said, we're gonna edit this and we're gonna change off the label on that second button to be sign up now. So button number 2, and this is just gonna change to sign up. Click Save Changes, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh the browser, and now we've got that button in there. We need to align that left. So back over here, edit that button and align it left. Click Save Changes, update that page, back to the browser, refresh. And that row's looking pretty good. Want to add a little bit more padding down here. So I'm going to go back in here and on this main row, edit that. And then down under design options, we're going to add in 5% of padding, and that should be pretty good on that. Next up, we have the why it works and then the why you will get results row. So this is your benefits row and then the results row. This is a 50-50 split row. So we're gonna start off by adding the image in there, and then we're gonna add the content in there, and then we're gonna flip that for the row that's down below there. So first up down here, we're gonna add that new row by clicking on this plus button. It is a row, and then we're gonna set that to be 50-50. So it's a split column 50-50 there. And then there's a background color on here of this right here. So we're gonna go ahead and copy that color. And then we're gonna go to this edit button right here, and under design options, we're gonna paste in that color right here for the background. And the next thing we wanna do on this row is we want this image to be right up against the top here without any padding or borders or margin. So what we wanna do is under all these top and bottom sections, because we want it to butt up right against the other rows, we're just gonna add zeros in all the way across here. So that's gonna take care of any padding or margins that's in there. Once that's all set up, you're gonna go ahead and click on Save Changes. First off, we're gonna add that image in here. So we're gonna click on that plus button, looking for that single image module right here. We're gonna add that in there. We're gonna make this once again full size. And this image, we're gonna right align, and then we're gonna search for that image. Once that image is loaded, set that image. And just like we did before, we don't want any padding around that image. So we're gonna go back up here to design options, and we're actually gonna drop zeros in all the way across here on the top section, and then also on the bottom, and then go ahead and click on Save Changes. Now, if I update that page, go back over to the browser, refresh the browser, you're gonna see now that I have that image that's going in here right now. We still have some padding issues up here, so we're gonna go back over here to design and take care of that. To do that, we're gonna click on this little edit icon right here, click on design options, and then we're gonna add all zeros in here as well. Click Save Changes, update that, go back to the home page. Let's see how this looks now. So there we go. Now we're noticing that that's right up against that other row. So now we're gonna take care of the content that's supposed to go over here, which is the why it works. So looking back over here, Lado Black 46, and then we're looking at Lado Regular 18. So we're gonna go back over here to the editing section. We're gonna click on this plus tool again, looking for that heading module, copy and paste this text from the design, add that in there, and then once again, copy and paste this lorem ipsum text, paste that over into here. We're gonna left align that over to typography, Lado. We're gonna make this bold. We're gonna do 46 point on that, black. Subheading font, Lado as well. This is gonna be default size. It's gonna be 18 point there, and then black. Now we're gonna go ahead and click on Save Changes, update that page, go back to the home page here, refresh the browser. That's looking pretty good there as well. Next, what we have to do is add a call to action button, and this is just a regular call to action button, but it's the same as the one that's up here in the hero. So if we scroll up here and grab this button, duplicate that, bring this, drag it all the way down, drag and drop it underneath why it works right there. And then this button we'd actually, I think, set up for a white background hover, but it's on a kind of a lighter background down here. So we just want to change that off to be a black hover. So we're going to then go ahead and edit that. Background, we're going to hover to black, change off the text to be white, and then click Save Changes. Now it's to update that page, go back here to the browser, refresh the browser, and now we have that call to action button in there, and it hovers over to black. So we've got our image in there, we've got the why it works in there, and then we also have the call to action button. Next up, we're going to actually duplicate this row, and then we're going to swap it for the why you will get results section. So back over here, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to make a duplicate of this row by clicking on this right here. And now what we're going to do is basically swap everything that we've done over on this side to this side. All right, guys, there you go. We've got that second row added in there. We swapped out that image, and then we also changed out the content right here. Scrolling down over here in the design and sketch, next row up is nutrition plan, and this is very similar to this row right here. So basically all we have to do is copy this entire row and then change out some of the content that's in there. So going back over here into the page builder, scrolling down here, we're looking for that row for the daily workouts. So that's the one that's right here. All you have to do is this entire row, duplicate that row. It's going to add it down here below, holding and dragging on this icon right here, scrolling down, load it in here in the bottom. Now we just have to go in and change out this heading to be nutrition plans. Next, you'll see that we have another couple images down here, another 50-50 row, and then a call to action button. So we already kind of have that set up right here. We have the 50-50 row. So all we have to do is remove these headings and the dual button that's right down here. So go ahead and X that out. It's going to remove that, remove that. We already have an image over here. So all we have to do is actually duplicate that and then drag it over into this section. So now we have that 50-50 column with an image on either side. Then we just have to go in and reload in the correct images. All right, now we've got both those images in there. Go ahead and click on update, go back to the browser. We're gonna refresh this page. We've got that all set up and ready to go. We're gonna bring these images a little closer together here. I think what we have to do is go back over into here and then click on the image, and on this left one, we're then gonna go ahead and right justify that one, and then we're gonna do the opposite over here. On the right image, we are going to left justify that. Save those changes, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh it, and it brought those a little bit closer together. Next thing we need to do is just add that call to action button down there, which is the same as the one that's up here in the daily workouts. So all we have to do is find that row, duplicate that button and clone it, and then drag it down below this section here, below those images. And then we just have to edit it and center justify it. Click Save Changes, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh. Scrolling down, everything looks pretty good there. A little bit too much padding here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back into here, I'm going to check under those images first. So this row right here, I'm going to edit that. That looks pretty good. Maybe it's on the button. Go under design, and there's that padding in there. We're just going to remove that, save those changes, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh that, and it should bring that button up closer to those images. Next row over here in the sketch design file is the About Me row. So it's once again a 50-50 split column row, photograph on the left, text, content, and a call to action button on the right. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to create a new row down here by clicking on the plus tab, add that row in there. We're going to then edit this, stretch that content, save those changes, make this a 50-50 column row. It's got a white background. So once again, go back here into edit, under design options, select white, save those changes. We're going to add an image in here, click on the plus button, single image module, make this a full-size image. We're going to right justify that, and then we're going to go up here and search for that image. Now we have the image loaded in. Now we just have to add the content over here on the right, which is once again a heading and text area. Click on the plus button, searching for that heading module. We're going to copy this text over here. This is Lado Black 46, so copying that into there. Go over to typography, Lado, making that super bold, 46 point, making that black. Back over here to general, we have this lorem ipsum placeholder text. This is where you would add your actual content in there, but we're just going to paste that in there for now. This is 18 point Lado regular, typography section, Lado default, which is regular, 18 point, make that black. Go back to general. We want to make sure that this is left justified. Click Save Changes, update that page, back to the browser, refresh, and then we have that text in there. Next, what we want to do is add that call to action button down there. So once again, we're going to go back in here, underneath this section down here at the bottom, click this plus tab. We're going to add a button in here, so search for that advanced button again. Label on this is going to be More About Me. This is where you would add that URL in there. We're going to keep it at left aligned. Title color is going to be white. Button background color is going to be black. Under the background, we're going to go ahead and fade that background on the hover state. We're then going to hover the background to a gray color, and then we're going to keep the hover text as white. Then over on styling, we're going to add some rounded corners. So solid, border width 0, rounded radius up to 5. Typography on here, Lado, we're going to make it bold. We're going to put 18 point in there, save those changes, update that page, go back to the browser, refresh it, and then we have our call to action button in there as well. That row is looking pretty good. We're just going to add a little bit more padding like I've done before over here on the top and the bottom. So back over here into this final row down here, edit that. Under design options, we're just going to add a little bit of padding in here. So say 4% here, then also 5%, save those changes and update that page. Last row we've got going on down here is the contact me. This is the call to action. So what we're looking at right now is a background down here, kind of like we've done on the hero. And then we have a form in here. In this tutorial, we're not going to add the form in there. That's going to be covered in a future tutorial when I show you how to add a form using Gravity Forms. So for right now, we're just going to add that background in there and then also the contact me heading in there. So going all the way back here into the editing section, we're going to add a new row by clicking on that plus button, add that row in there. We're then going to edit that row. We're going to stretch the content of that row. Back over here in design options, we're going to add a black background on there. And then just like we did with the hero, we're then going to go ahead and search for that image to use as a background. So click on plus and find that image. Now we've added that image in there. Under theme defaults, make sure that that image is going to cover the entire background, and then go ahead and click on Save Changes. Now we have to add this heading in here for Contact Me and that subheading. We're just going to copy once again the section for nutrition plans. So if I scroll up here, find this heading right here, duplicate that, drag and drop that into this section right here. Now we just have to edit that to say Contact Me Today. And then this subheading right here, we're going to copy that. Take note that this is actually Lado Regular 24, so it's a little bit larger. Paste that into there. Now under typography, we're just going to change this one off to be white. And then down here, like I said, we're going to bold this up a little bit here. And then we're going to make this white. And then we're going to make it a little bit larger at 26 point. Then we're going to go back into general here. Everything looks good there. Save those changes, update that page, go back over here, refresh that browser. Now you're going to see you have this background image under here with the Contact Me and then the subtext down there. We're going to add a little bit of padding in here. We are going to bring that form in here eventually in a future tutorial, so that will expand the height of this a little bit. But what we're going to do is just going to add some padding in there for now. So back over here to this row, click on the edit, design options. We're just going to go ahead and put 4% padding in here. And then just to open that up for right now, we're going to put it in 20%. That's going to really expand that for now. And then go ahead and click on update. Go back to the browser here, refresh that. And now we have a little bit more space down here so you can see that image coming through. Like I said, we're gonna be adding that form in here in a future tutorial, but just so you know, if I was to go back in here, there's a module for that. So what we would do is once we have actually created a form over here on the left with using Gravity Forms, you would click on this plus, and then basically you would search for Gravity, and you're gonna see that we have a form right there. So if I just go ahead and click on that, then it's gonna ask you what form you want displayed in there. We don't have the form built out right now, but if I wanted to go ahead and put one in there so you just see how it works, I have a footer contact form. Go ahead and click Save Changes. Go ahead and click on Update. And then if I was to refresh the browser, you're now gonna see that there is a form down here. We would have to modify this a little bit, but that just kind of gives you a general idea of how that form would be in there. So there you have it, guys. If you look at this web page, we've totally built out this complete web page using the design that we created in Sketch, and then also that WP Bakery page builder over here. As you can see, this page builder is really quick, fast, and easy, and you can basically drag and drop all the elements you need in there and then duplicate them, duplicate the rows. It really allows you to build a page very, very quickly. Only thing you would have to obviously do in here is now replace all this temporary placeholder content that we've added in here, all this text, with your actual text. And then, like I said, in a future video, we'll be adding your actual videos in here. So right now we just have this placeholder one in there, and then you would just have to go in here and link up all these buttons to all the different pages you want them to link to. But there is your homepage all set up and ready to built out and ready to go. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys. Hope this helps. And as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I am here to help.